Welcome back, guys. It's another day. I'm finally getting around to fixing the Firewood factory regarding the sprocket. So, bit of a funny one, really. This thing here grips the sprocket. I don't know what the technical word is for it, but it's kind of tapered. And these three, I suppose, flanges spread out and grip the socket, the sprocket. This has kind of come to its maximum spreading, I believe, because it's right down against the bearing now. It should be just away from it. So, to my knowledge, anyway. So we're gonna have to take this off. I've got a new one. Peter has given me a video here, so we can watch that.
Slide up as you tighten it up. So this is the taper coupling in bits. That is the piece that I believe has either broken or actually has bitten down so hard on your shaft, like that you physically can't pull it off. So there might be a burr on here. So somehow, just need to grip that. You can see the little...
So the first job really is to get this old one off. I think I'm going to have to grip the thread there and then get on that nut and try and get the nut off. Because if you stop the shaft from spinning, this whole kind of mechanism that Peter just slid on there, that spins on the shaft, but it doesn't want to come off. So I don't really know. It's a bit of a tricky one. I don't think Peter's really seen it happen before either, so it would happen to me. But what am I doing? Just need some pliers. That's a good thing about the DJI Minmo Action. Well, no, not a Minmo. I've got a Minmo though. DJI Action 3, it is magnetic, so I can just slap you there and hopefully you can see. So that's just an example. Firewood can do is just give you a couple of videos. They have all parts in stock, so they can show you what the problem is. Now, good job I've got new parts, because I believe I'm going to break this one doing it, which is a bit annoying. This is going to be hard. Well, that was a bit of a luck, wasn't it? So I've just pinched it to the end of the shaft, and the whole lot's coming off. I am wondering if that has actually worn the shaft. It's definitely got hot. Oh dear. Might be able to save that one, I'm not sure. I don't think so, because they're not very good, these. Don't know if you guys can see that there are lines in that inner bit, and you can see they're all closed right up, so it's at its tightest setting. So it's gone down to its tightest setting, It's actually slipped on the shaft, and it has actually worn it very slightly. So the chain has been slipping a little bit. I'm going to have to ring Peter and see if that's going to be okay. If not, it's just a short section of shaft from that coupling through the bearing. I'll have to look in the box. He might have already sent me one, but that's just a bit of a shame. I don't know how that's quite happened, really. I suppose you could widen them lines out a little bit. Invoice. Blimey, got some fire starters, lots of them. Okay, Torque Mini, 1/2 inch. That's what grips onto the shaft. Got a new sprocket, but I don't believe we're going to need that. He did send us a new shaft, so that's great. We're going to fit that, just to make sure, because I don't want to put that new bit on and for it to do the same thing. I think that's it. Well, at least they send eco-friendly packaging. It's pretty clean already, if I'm honest, but give it a quick blow off. Compressor's on. As you guys may be able to hear, Andy is round at the kilns. Thank you for all your input the other day, on Sunday, about what to do. I've actually changed design again. Well, not design, but I've changed it, and we're not actually going to have the fan where I put it. Quite rightly, a few of you said that it would stare me right in the face. I was so headstrong about the air coming in from the burner that I missed the fact that where the fan is at the moment, it's going to be sucking it through the front vents and then straight back out again, and not really going to be moving any air inside the kiln. So, that being said, we're moving the fan all the way to the back. Some of you may now say, oh, you're going to lose a lot of heat, but I'm putting it at the bottom, so the heat rises to the top. I'm putting the fan at the bottom, and when that starts sucking, it's going to let fresh air in from the front vents on the doors, and a little bit from the burner, but mainly from the front vents on the doors. That will then cool the moisture in the air and drop the moisture lower, under my understanding and research. And also, that being said, the fresh air is coming in from the front vents. It's going to have to travel all the way down through the wood before it gets outside to the fan. So, and some of you may be saying, well, you're going to lose a lot of heat, but you're not. The heat is stored within the logs. A few people actually rang me up locally who have done something similar, and they say the logs store the heat, so when the fan comes on, you don't actually lose much heat, and the humidity fan will likely only be on for up to a minute before it then cuts back off again, and then starts to reheat from the burner. So I'm not worried about having the fan down on the other end, because as I say, it is down low. I'm just hoping it's going to suck enough through. So we're going to put one big fan on each kiln. I'm going to send the other 2 little fans back, get my money back, and if and when we put more fans inside to move the air around, that money can go towards that. So that's what we're looking like right now. That's the plan we're going for. One singular big fan sucking at the back of the kiln, and the fresh air is going to be coming in the vents that are already there. It's going to be quite cool, really, because the hot air is going to be blowing in. It's going to be blowing it towards the doors, and then the fan will come on and switch it around, and it starts sucking the fresh air in outside through the logs, getting rid of that wet air. As soon as that drops below humidity, it will then switch off, and it will then start pushing it against the door again and out the door. So we're utilising the vents that are already there, which is good. We're not adding any more holes and heat loss. And we're only relying on one fan just sucking, because the air is going to come through the vents. I don't know why I was thinking you need another fan pushing it in. I was just trying to equalise the pressure. But that fan is big enough, and I believe it's going to be moving that much air that we're going to be fine. But anyway, all right, you're all right.
Yeah, not too bad.
Good, good. Yeah, good, thank you. I'm finally getting around to fitting this thing. I've got the coupler off, and it was basically fully closed up, and it was slipping on the shaft. So the shaft is worn, and obviously you've sent me a new shaft, which is great.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. How do you get that shaft out? I've undone the coupling, and I've undone the grub screws on the bearing. Does it have to come out backwards, or can it come out, forwards?
The easiest way I do it, and it's the quickest way I found, is I undo the grub screws of the bearing.
Yeah.
And then I take the full bolts to put a hole in the pump.
Full. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
And then knock the end of the shaft. And then you can get to the grub screws to undo the.
Sorry about that. Oh. You would think in 2023 you would have good signal everywhere, wouldn't you? I think I got the gist of what you were saying. Hello, sorry about that. It was calling over. Go on.
So take the hydraulic motor off.
Yeah.
And knock it out as a one assembly.
Yeah.
Then undo the grub screws of the coupler of the motor.
Yeah.
And reassemble the new shaft.
Okay.
Now, if you have a look at the coupling between the motor, there is a small gap in the middle.
Yeah.
Make sure the shaft that you're putting in your new shaft doesn't go beyond that gap.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that the two halves, when they're squeezed together, one squeezes onto the shaft of the motor and the other one squeezes onto your new shaft.
Yeah.
Then you put it all back in, put it back through the bearing, put your bolts tight on your motor, let it find itself, and then tighten up the grub screws on the bearing, and that's it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah. Do you think it would be wise to have the shaft very slightly further out so it tapers more, or not? I just don't understand how it's closed all the way up.
No, it works out the right dimensions, so that when you put the coupling in, when you put that tall coupling in, it does go up against the shoulder.
Right.
And it does work. I think you were just a rare. Unfortunately, you're just 1 in 100. It happened. The only thing to do is now and then to check how tight the coupling is, and never put a spanner on it to wind the shaft round the opposite way, because that will undo it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, I've never done that. I mean, I've never touched it, to be honest with you. But the it's always been tight on there, you know. Nothing's been wobbly, so. But yeah.
Okay. It's just the amount of times it's spinning round and round. It's unbelievable. How many cuts does it do? It's done a lot of cuts.
Yeah.
Every now and then, just put a spanner on it and check that it is got that nice nip.
Yeah.
To it before you put your chain on.
Yeah. All right, perfect. I'll do that now.
And if you don't use any of the other stuff, bring it up and they can credit it at the end of the day.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if I'm going to need the sprocket. I'm going to see if it's worn much or not.
Yeah, that's why I'm worried about how much it's worn. That's why I set it all down. At least you've got everything. And then what you don't need, you can bring up.
Yeah. I'll have a look. I might just put it on anyway, if I'm honest. Yeah, okay. No dramas. All right, well.
Once you do some cutting, stop the machine, and just for your own benefit, just put a spanner back on that coupling and just double check.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, all right then. Cheers, Peter.
Great stuff.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate. Bye. Great service by Firewood. Okay, so that does seem definitely the simplest way. I mean, Peter builds these day in, day out. He's pretty much the only one that he's got a couple of guys that help him, but he is the kind of main factory assembler, if that makes any sense. So he just came on there and told me what to do, and it does make total sense. So I'm actually going to nip up the coupler again so it doesn't fall out, and then we're going to take the motor off, and that will give us enough room, and the whole lot will come out as one. And we're out. We've just got to undo this. Right, we'll go and see Andy quick. I've got to fill up the burner. So thank you guys, everyone who commented the other day. It was, you know, you just wake up and you have a bit of a brainwave and you're like, oh, why have I done that? Or I need to do it that way. That's what kind of happened. So, hey ho, we learn. So obviously we're working on number 2 now because kiln 1 is still full, but we are going to be taking this off of here now and putting it down at the bottom right hand corner as you're looking at it. We will have to add more fence in kiln 2 to allow the air to move through the container, but the new shaft in. Okay guys, so we're all buttoned up, motor's tightened up, coupling's tightened up, and the grub screws are in the bearing. We are now going to move over to this funny little contraption. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, so what we do have to do is actually put the bar back on to give us a line of sight to where we want the sprocket. Now, it says don't add any lubricants. Obviously, I'm not going to add any lubricants, but you've got to think this is just below the chain lube, and I'm wondering if that affects that at all, because obviously oil's going to drip down onto the coupling. That's just nipped up. That just gives us a line of sight for where we want the sprocket, because we don't want it off centre. I am going to put the new sprocket on because it's here, and I think the other one is worn slightly. So if I put the old sprocket on and it damages the new coupling, I'll be really pissed off. So we'll start fresh, and then hopefully it'll last us. Okay, so this is what Peter said on the phone. You need to line up the right hand side of the sprocket with the left hand side of the bar, and as you tighten up, it pulls it across and lines it up. So I'm going to concentrate on this, but that's basically what you do. We'll slacken it off, push it all the way on, the left hand and the right hand, and then tighten it up on the shaft. That has brought it right across. Still in line. Still in line. Still in line. Okay, so he did say now, screwdriver in the sprocket. The other way would be better. And that will then bind up against something, and you can tighten it down. Just checking if it's still moving across, because I don't want it to move over too far. Yeah. So it's kind of moved over too far now. That is perfectly in line. Just going to get a slightly thicker screwdriver. Give it the last little tweak down. Pretty tight now. Hopefully that's gripped onto the shaft. The sprocket seems to be moving very central. Okay, so I'd like to test this without putting any wood in. So my theory is I'm going to put some paper in front of the reflective tape of the laser, and hopefully it's going to think it's got wood in it. I appreciate some of your concerns for safety, and a few of you mentioned that you shouldn't be wearing a lance around you that when you're near conveyors and stuff. But if this was to get hold of something, it would just come straight off. You're on safety clips, so don't worry about that. I appreciate it. Now let's see if this works. So we'll do it like any normal day. We'll prime the chain lube. Should be enough. Right. We'll see if this works. I'm hoping it's just gonna close the jaws and come down. Now we will make it nice and slow. That's nice and slow. I just want to bed that in. I'm going to do 2 cuts. Right, I'm now going to go around and give it another nip up, so we're going to turn everything off. I'm going to get the 19mm out again. And I'm just going to nip that up because I don't want it to come loose again. Seems to be moving, so which I think we can. So we did actually get a bit more on there. Now it's settled in. So I don't know how much more to go really. It's pretty tight. I don't want to over tighten it, so maybe I'll do a few hours of processing this afternoon and then give it another check. But basically, them 3 like rings, they spread out and bite the shaft and bite the sprocket at the same time, to my understanding, so it's pretty good. But we have to go off and do a couple of deliveries, and one of them is a stacking job, so take the wheelbarrow and we'll stack it up. But this is probably going to be near enough a video in itself. Like I said, kiln modifications are coming along. We're going to go and get a few bits from Screwfix when we're out and about, and I'd like to get it buttoned up today. And Andy knows a thing or two about electrics, so he should be able to wire it up as well, which is fantastic. So, okay, I'm going to leave this now. I'd like to run it, but I don't have time. I've got to get on. Okay. So guys, I just got back from a delivery and Andy's been working hard to get the kiln bits done. We've now got like a panel on the wall in the kiln, sorry, in the burner room. We're setting up the humidity sensors for kiln 2, and then we're going to have another one for kiln 1, so we can set the parameters. And I'm just about to order a load of sensors for inside the kilns that can then tell me what's going on my phone. We did have to extend this sensor here to go to kiln 2. Kiln 1, they should be long enough to go straight through and just go inside the kiln, but kiln 2 was a bit further away, so we've extended that. So it's just a case of plugging this in here, and then we'll wire up the fan. We're only having one fan now. The one fan will plug into here and turn that on automatically when it gets up to a certain humidity. This fan here, we're going to have to take this out and patch it up. I had a long think about it and I had a sleep on it, and we're putting the fans at the far end low down, so when they switch on it's going to suck air through the vents that are already here. So basically it's coming out now slowly, but when that fan comes on it will then suck fresh air in this end straight down the whole length of the kiln. Obviously that's kiln 1, this is kiln 2. And as the temperature as the moisture drops in temperature, it actually drops. From the research I've looked at anyway, it drops. So I've got the fan at the bottom. It's about a foot and a half. It starts about a foot and a half off the floor of the kiln. And the other great benefit of that is it doesn't necessarily siphon much of the hot air out where it comes in at the back, because obviously hot air rises, so you can imagine the hot air comes in at the top, gets mixed around, and then whenever it gets too wet it will turn on, and this will then vent out all the wet air, and when it gets below a certain humidity it will turn off and then start heating back up again. Thank you for everyone that messaged me, commented, and even some people rang me. Really good insights to a lot of things. Some people might be better to have timers, but I've already bought the Inkbird. We'll give that a go first. Secondly, apparently you don't actually lose too much heat, because the residual heat is actually within the logs. They're kind of like stones in a sauna. They hold on to the heat. So once you've got rid of all the wet air, it doesn't take long at all. I mean, we're talking 30 seconds to a minute to bring it straight back up to temperature again. So I'm not too worried about heat. Like I said before, that burner kicks out so much heat, and realistically we don't actually need that much heat, but it's all about the airflow really. So that's the plan of action, guys. I don't know whether to put this video out and then put another video out when we've finished, or connect it all together, but that's the plan of action. One 315mm fan in each kiln sucking, and it will suck out of the fresh vents at the front that we've already got. So it'll obviously suck a bit out the burner as well, but that's not a problem. That's the plan, that's what we're going with. I'm getting lots of sensors so we can measure what's happening inside, and we've got hard data then that I can give to you guys. But this just worked out best for me. A few people commented, quite rightly saying I didn't even see that it was staring me right in the face. this fan, all it's going to be doing is sucking fresh air in from the vents and straight back out again. Don't get me wrong, it'll be moving some sort of air that way, but not. The whole point is to change all the air inside the kiln, and that isn't going to happen there. So we'll have to take this off, put a plate back over it. There's a bit of insulation we can put back in. A bit of a shame, but we're not that far into it. All we've got to do is unbolt it and take it out and replace it with a plate. We haven't done all the wiring and everything else for it, so that's the plan. I hope you guys think it's a good idea. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, bit of a mismatched video this one. As I said, I don't know whether to put it out now or carry it on, but if it ends here, then thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.